Welcome to TWitWoW, the best podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans. You know it was going to be had to react on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And this is our NXT review. And you know what, guys? Here's my thing with this episode of NXT. Great episode, right? I'd say there was only like one little lull, and that was the women's match that we got, but we'll get to it. But you know what I really liked about this NXT? One, we got Velveteen Dream and No Way Jose. That's always a plus. I love both guys. Two, major announcement from William Regal. We're getting our Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic! So pumped about that. So happy for the tag team division, and TM61 has already teased they're going to win it, which they probably will because they're amazing. And of course, our main event, Johnny Gargano, one of the best baby faces in wrestling right now. And you know, if I'm going out of my way to praise Gargano, I'm being 100% sincere, against, in my mind, a guy that I'm happy to see get more credit in this equation as well. Andrade Cien Almas, who is just in the fucking pocket right now, is wrestling out of his damn mind. An exemplary NXT champion. Those two met for the fourth time for the NXT championship, and it is a testament to their rivalry that it's been 4 matches, and I still haven't fucking tired of it. Like, that tells you the quality of rivalry that these two have been able to build. So on the whole, knowing that we've gotten all that, this NXT gets an exuberant thumbs up from me, but I'm going to shut the fuck up because it ain't just about my opinion. Let's get my cohort and commentaries take. Ashton, how did you feel about this NXT tonight?
I definitely enjoyed overall the episode of NXT, but I'm not as exuberant about you on the entire episode. Like, here's how I would break it down. I would give the first half of this NXT from 8 to 8:30 like a 6 out of 10, right?
Right.
Starting at 8:30, when the Andrade versus Johnny Gargano hype and then preceding match happened, that's like 9 out of 10. That's like 9.5 out of 10 even. So if you average those out, you only get like a 7.5 out of 10, which means that this wasn't like an amazing episode of NXT. But starting with the Johnny Gargano and Almas stuff, it was a great second half of the show.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I think you and I are in less disagreement than you might believe, because I agree with you. The second half was definitely stronger than the first. I just think that I appreciate, one, I was very enthused again about the announcement of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, because you know that you and I have been itching for that. Velveteen Dream and No Way Jose, I enjoyed that.
I was disappointed by that match, especially Jose.
Okay, well, you know what? I can't wait to really get it. In fact, you know what? Let's stop talking about it. Let's start being about it. I got my best foot forward tonight. Let's get into our first segment. Heat of the night. Would you call this match like a nitpick for you? Do you have any nitpicks or heats that you want to air about the show?
No. See, like, to me, a nitpick or a heat of the night or whatever is typically a decision that was made that I strongly disagree with, that I think that there were better alternatives to it. And there really wasn't anything along those lines on this show.
Yeah, I mean, I would certainly agree with you. I've got no nitpicks or heats of the night. So, I mean, hey, if we don't, let's just keep the conversation going. Then let's get right into our NXT review. And, you know, we did kind of open up with a bit of hype for the NXT Championship match tonight, but then we do go into Velveteen Dream versus No Way Jose, and because I've really been itching to get more of your perspective, let's talk about it. What did you think about this match?
Well, that's the thing, is I love Velveteen Dream, but I was really disappointed by No Way Jose's performance here. I feel like he phoned it in.
Interesting. Do you think maybe it's less phoning it in and more because, I mean, he was dealing with the injury. 2017 was kind of a weird year for him. Do you think it's just him trying to, like, find himself again and find his footing?
Absolutely, yeah. Like, that's... To me, that's the explanation that I kind of hope is true, because that means that it's just a temporary thing and we're not going to like get like, this isn't the new No Way Jose. This is just a temporary road bump and he's going to get back to his usual charismatic, fun, you know, over the top self within a few months. But for now, maybe it's just a case of it was too early to put him back on TV. So if you want to call that a nitpick, then maybe there you go.
Let me ask you this. I mean, because again, partner, you're going to have to forgive me because you could tell like I have a lot of energy tonight, you know, whatever. I really enjoyed NXT. do you think there's a possibility that we could get No Way Jose and Velveteen Dream like in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic together? Because I know they like to do makeshift.
I want Velveteen Dream with Leo Rush. They were a tag team for a Maryland promotion. I think it was just MCW, Maryland Championship Wrestling, and they are both really good performers, and I want them to be a team in NXT too. And I don't know about No Way Jose. I know last time we had the DRTTC, we had No Way Jose teaming up with Rich Swann. That can't happen.
Right.
Still, I mean, hell, let's do like a strange Bedfellows team where you put like No Way Jose with Lars Sullivan or some crazy shit like that.
Yeah, because, dude, I'm going to be truthful with you. Before this stuff happened with Aleister Black and Killian Dane, I wanted Velveteen Dream and Aleister on the same team so goddamn bad. Like, if we would have gotten the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic earlier, I would have been like, put those two together and fuck it, give them the trophy. Like, but since that can't happen, I do like the alternatives you're putting forward for sure. Just to give my thoughts on the match.
See, it's funny you say that because I could see Aleister Black and Killian Dane being a Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic team. That would be interesting.
Yeah, see, the only reason I disagree is because it does seem, again, they've both explicitly stated that their intention is the NXT Championship. So I think one of them is going to be a contender, and then the other one may fall back on the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic just to give them something to do, or, heading to, well, actually, no, New Orleans is where they get the tag title shot, which, thank you, NXT, for finally adding that stip, because I feel like up until this point, it's always been implied, like, oh, yeah, the winner of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic is going to be a future #1 contender, but no, now they made it explicit that they'll get their tag title shot at TakeOver New Orleans, which I really like that. So, yeah, I don't see them, like, being a team because I see one of them pursuing the NXT Championship, presumably Aleister Black, because I feel like that's been a long time coming. But we'll see if Killian Dane can find a partner. But just to very quickly give my thoughts on the matchup, I more or less agree with you. The match was really like, I mean, again, it was great seeing Velveteen Dream. Loved his psychology here. He did a hot shot to No Way Jose at one point that I thought was great and got a neck breaker. He's just kind of working over the head and neck. Loved his counter to No Way Jose's pop-up punch where he did the drop kick. I thought that was great. And the Purple Rainmaker, like, the dude's got the gimmick so well put together, and he's in his early 20s yet. Like, to be that complete.
Dude, that's the crazy thing. I literally have in my notes, it feels like Velveteen Dream has surpassed Jose as a performer, and that's crazy to me.
Yeah, because remember, it wasn't that long. Well, I mean, I guess a little while ago, but it wasn't that long ago in the grand scheme of things that you were saying No Way Jose had like rock levels of charisma and could really work that mic. And
I think, you know what, though? I think that's also probably a big reason why I'm able to feel as disappointed as I am right now, because I had such high expectations for him. And maybe that was a mistake.
No, I totally get it, man. I think it's really something when you see so much in a prospect and they fail to deliver the goods. I'm still hoping that Jose can find his way and be somebody. But I really feel like even though it's not explicitly so, we are living in the Velveteen Dream era because sooner or later this guy's going to explode and he's going to be doing major things. If he hasn't exploded already, I mean, that in itself is debatable. But I think the best is yet to come for him is my point. And just him getting on the mic post-match and giving himself all the awards, male superstar of the year, overall competitor of the year, match of the year, Velveteen Dream, Velveteen Dream, Velveteen, and the crowd eats it up. Yeah. Like, he had this crowd in the palm of their hands. They love him. This is another guy, and it's funny because, like, how can I even put this? I feel like there was a time in wrestling where everybody, like, nobody wanted to be a heel as, like, that classic bad guy that punts puppies across football fields, but they were straddling the more like anti-hero line.
Yeah.
But I don't see that with Velveteen. Like, I don't see an anti-hero in Velveteen Dream because that's somebody that's like got that edge, that rebelliousness to faces and heels. Velveteen Dream is just charismatic, and it's a charisma that's transcendent of labels. Like, he does have that aura, that kind of smugness that you would ascribe to a heel. But I think people love it so much that they really don't give a shit. I mean, this guy could step up to Andrade tomorrow, I feel like, and challenge him for the NXT title, and they would be firmly in Velveteen Dream's corner. That's just how over I feel that he is right now. And again, to be this young and this complete, good luck everybody else. So great outing for Dream. Jose, I hope he can find his way. But that's really all I wanted to say about the match. Is there anything else you wanted to say about it?
I don't think so. I did. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like I hated the match. It was still an entertaining match. I was taken out of it because of how different No Way Jose felt in this compared to this, like, ridiculous, just aura that the Velveteen Dream exudes consistently. It's unbelievable, the difference to me.
Yeah, absolutely. With that said, partner, what came after this?
William Regal's big announcement. In 2 weeks, we're going to be starting the DRTTC, the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. And we did, I don't, or no, yeah, I do actually. Never mind. That didn't happen until a little later, but we did get a promo from one of the tag teams that's going to be in it later on. And then we got right into our second match of the night, Vanessa Bourne versus Nikki Cross. And unfortunately, hey guys, my network was shitting out during this match, so I literally only got to see the finish. So John, please enlighten us.
I mean, yeah, you really didn't miss much, partner. I mean, Nikki Cross was very over with this crowd, I noticed. She went right after Vanessa Bourne. I don't really think Vanessa Bourne got much offense. Like, I know she did some damage to Nikki Cross, but yeah, ultimately, Nikki Cross wins with the Fisherman Neckbreaker, which they're calling the Purge, which really does seem to fit the gimmick. So kudos to commentary, who was great again tonight. Oh, God, Nigel, we missed you. Even though I know he's been back for a while, it was great hearing him call a Gargano Almas match because he didn't get to call the TakeOver bout. So, yeah, Nikki Cross wins. And not really much post-match development. You know, I didn't know if they were going to do something with Lacey Evans because I know she called out Nikki Cross and all that stuff. You know, none of that really happened. So, yeah, Nikki Cross wins. Crazy Nikki Cross wins the day. And, yeah, nothing really more to say about that.
Yeah. I love that. Crazy Nikki Cross.
Oh, God. It's going to keep being a thing until she changes, man. I'm not going to stop harping on it. Because, I mean, she is so good in ring, too. Like, I mean, everything looks so clean and so crisp. Like, clearly she can get it done in there. It's just, my God, man, when she's running those ropes and all that stuff. And then I think about Marty the Moth, you know, who we did with Lucha Rewatch today. And I'm like, aim higher, Nikki. Aim higher.
I mean, and to me, even Marty goes a little overboard sometimes. So to me, like, the bar should be set at Hiromu.
And, you know, that's fair. That's fair. But you already know my defense of a Marty type character. And really, I can't even blame Nikki so much for that. Like, I just wish they wrote her with broader parameters. I feel like she's way too constricted for what crazy can be. But I don't want to get into that whole discussion. I've had it plenty of times. Let's move on. What came after this?
All right. Well, up next, we got a bit of a recap of the feud that we were talking about earlier, Killian Dane and Aleister Black, and how that whole thing got started. And then we do get our promo from TM61 officially announcing their entry into the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Apparently, they tweeted almost immediately after the announcement that it was going to happen that they know what it's like to make the finals and that this year they're going to know what it's like to win the whole thing.
Brother, I don't want to put the cart before the horse here, but I don't know if you want to join me on this. If you don't, that's fine. I'm tempted to call my shot early and say the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Finals, and I think you even said this first, are going to be AOP versus TM61, and TM61 are
no, I don't think TM61's going to be in the finals again. I think they're going to pull kind of like a bait and switch with them. I think that we're going to get War Machine in the finals. That's my ultimate goal.
Interesting. Okay, well then I really am going to call my shot. I'm sticking with TM61 versus AOP in the finals. TM61 finally beat AOP because AOP I hear is rumored to be a post WrestleMania call up, which would be perfect.
Yeah, I heard that too. I think, you know what? I'll go with your same idea of AOP getting called up after making it to the finals and losing, but my team to win is going to be War Machine. I'm going to say War Machine and AOP in the finals. War Machine as this like dominant babyface team, which is why I think they're kind of cooling down Heavy Machinery a little bit. So I think War Machine's going to win.
Interesting. I like, though, that you and I are kind of subscribing to the same blueprint. We're just swapping out, you know, one vital piece. You're saying, yeah, those guys, War Machine, and I'm saying freaking TM61. So, interesting.
I mean, I love the TM61 return story, but I feel like if they wanted to do TM61 getting a big victory over AOP, they've already had multiple opportunities to do it just since they've returned. And they never really decided to pull the trigger. And I don't know, man. I don't think that they're going to do that now. I think that NXT has kind of moved on from the TM61 AOP story more than you and I would rather have. Like, I know you and I want to kind of cling to that and be like, oh, this is the story that we're telling. Let's just go back to it and really finish it right. But I don't think NXT is willing to do that. I think NXT's moved on from that idea. And I don't think that TM61 is even going to make the finals this year.
And that's fair. That is fair. We shall wait and see how it all shakes out. What came after this?
Well, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, after this was our third and final match of the night, the main event of the evening. Andrade Cien Almas versus Johnny Gargano. Title versus career.
Okay, two things here. One, before we even got into this, it was announced that next week Kairi Sane is facing Shayna Baszler, so I'll be very much looking forward to that match. Second thing, I have a lot I want to say about this, and I know I'm a motor mouth. When I get started, I can't stop. So I want you to have a fair chance to say everything that's on your mind. So I don't even care. Like, if you go over the whole match, just giving your thoughts, and then I get my turn, you take the reins. I want you to talk about this first extensively. So what were all your thoughts on this? Even if you want to
First of all, as much as I absolutely love these guys, and they are both exceptional in the ring, I love them both. I want both of them to just get the world. I want Andrade to be the world champion on SmackDown, and I want Gargano to be the world champion on Raw. I just want them to run the main roster in a year or two. To me, the star of this match was Mauro Ranallo.
Yeah.
Like, every time Andrade had a Gargano in a compromising position or attempted a pin, the reaction that we were getting from Ranallo on commentary, he lost himself in this match. It was, oh my God, no! Like, you could hear the pain in his voice at the idea of losing Johnny Gargano from his brand, from the NXT brand, multiple occasions where he straight up lost it, including the final pinfall. And I get goosebumps even thinking about Mauro Ranallo's commentary in this match. And speaking of commentary, welcome back, Nigel McGuinness. We really missed you on commentary, and I'm really sad that you were not on the booth, on the desk, to call the Andrade Gargano match that we got at TakeOver Philly. That's a tragedy. But dude, this match was amazing. I love how this is one of those pairings where the more matches they have with each other, the more they counter each other's signature moves, the more they get to know each other, the more it's kind of like they can tell what's coming and they figure out a way to get around it. We got a great moment really early in the match, even after, because Candice took out Zelina early in the match, like probably 5 minutes in, maybe not even that long in. And it really was just these guys one-on-one without anything going on the outside for a good majority of the match. And at an early point in the match, Gargano went for the slingshot spear, but almost caught it with this perfect counter into a Fujiwara armbar. And then he transitioned the Fujiwara into the Gargano escape. But what I even love about that is that it's Gargano's move. So of course he knows how to counter, and he immediately goes into a roll-up attempt, gets a 2 count. That was a great series. Gargano then went for the hammerlock DDT. Great move. And then we got a little pinning series. These guys have so much chemistry. It's freaking ridiculous. Like, there was that whole sequence, and then they were going at each other, and then like Johnny runs into the corner, and Andrade just hip tosses him into the turnbuckles. Like, and then the double knees to the back of the head too. Like, God, I just love not just like, oh yeah, this was a really good match. I love the storytelling. I love that this whole match and this whole story has revolved around Gargano wanting to prove himself and Almas just being like, no, you suck, and then proving himself right more times than not. And now in this match, I don't want to keep on talking about the specific spots because I feel like I want you to talk about those too. But really the culmination being Gargano was the better man on this day, but it didn't matter because the ref wasn't there to see it. And then Ciampa ruined Gargano's career by coming in, hitting him with the crutch, allowing Almas to lock in the hammerlock DDT just in time for the referee Drake Wirtz to recover, get the 3 count, and that's it. Gargano is done in NXT, and the story told to get us to this point was amazing, and I'm so excited about the future for Gargano and the Gargano Ciampa storyline and the NXT Championship picture. Now that Gargano's out of it, I can't wait to talk about all of those things with you as soon as you're done giving your thoughts on this excellent match.
I'm really glad I let you go first to get your full thoughts out because I have quite a bit to say. Preliminary remarks, Johnny Gargano, amazing. I want to give him his due now because I'm just going to let everybody know my focus is really not just going to be on the match, but really on Andrade as a performer. So Johnny's amazing, sells his fucking ass off, draws sympathy like nobody else, gets people lost in the work that he puts together. I mean, we talked about Mauro almost like stopping being a commentator and starting to be a fan. And hell, I'll even give Percy Watson credit. He had one moment where Johnny Gargano gets his slingshot DDT in the ring, and his voice is like, "That's it, new champion!" And the excitement in Percy's voice was genuine. And, like, it's rare that I go out of my way to defend and, like, you know, praise Percy's commentary, because he's not terrible by any means, but he's just there. He really doesn't add anything like Nigel and Morrow do. And I felt like even him, like, he contributed to that atmosphere. We were all, and when I say we, I mean, like, the NXT collective, the NXT body, was rooting for Gargano to triumph. And he's so good. These two together, their chemistry, I'm going to be very careful with my wording here. These guys could be legitimately a world championship match at WrestleMania. And I didn't say main event because I know everybody has different interpretations of main event. You give Almas, or hell, even Gargano, a world championship, and then the other guy's the fucking challenger. These guys could have a main event, like a marquee match at WrestleMania. Easily.
And the best thing is, we got exactly 4 matches between them, but it was spread out enough that you could revisit this feud at WrestleMania 35, and I wouldn't feel like it had been worn down because of the time between those matches and the quality of those matches.
I agree with you completely. I'm also going to say, as another preliminary remark, what I told you before we went live. I love that these guys have faced each other 4 times, and each time feels so inspired. It never feels repetitive. It never feels tired. Because here's the thing, right?
And you know what? That's a great point, too, because there was even a point in this match, and it brings me back to TakeOver Philly, where Almas threw Gargano into the ring post, and then Gargano is lying with his head up against the ring post on the outside, and Almas is thinking what everyone is thinking. Double knees to Gargano's face up against the ring post, because he did it at Philly, and that was the beginning of the end for Gargano. Gargano knew it was coming and hit him with a super kick before he could do it.
Exactly. It's like these guys, they come together. I don't know if they pre-plan in the locker room or if they call it in the ring, but it's like they come together, they watch their matches together and say, okay, Andrade, we did this sequence, but how about we change the sequence up a bit and do these moves in this order to make it feel fresh? Or maybe I throw a counter in here rather than you execute. Like, it's so thoughtful. Because, and what I was getting ready to say before you interjected, like, I don't want to be that guy to unnecessarily drag, like, another rivalry or product for the sake of it elevating this one, but I'm going to do that because I'm an asshole. We think about words like, you know, great rivalries and the people involved in it, like Cena Orton or this one, that one. And yeah, maybe there were like 1 or 2 good matches in there, but they very quickly get repetitive. And they very quickly, like, you know where it's going. You know the beats that are going to be hit. You know our running joke on here, Pawn to King 4, right? I never get that vibe with these two. And I need to say it because it's so rarely said. That I think when it happens, you need to go out of your way to make it known. No, these guys keep it fresh. And you know, to quote Becky Lynch, like, it's straight fucking fire with these two. And now the big thing I want to talk about. Fucking Andrade. Because Jesus Christ, like, again, I'll give Gargano his props all day long. Mega babyface waiting to happen. And I swear to God, if he gets stuck on 205 Live, which may not be the worst thing, given that it's got Triple H apparently more at the helm, maybe he could really do good things with it. But this guy should be competing for world titles. This guy should be standing across the ring from the likes of Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens.
This guy should literally just be the next Daniel Bryan. That's who he is. Exactly.
Like, give him those opportunities. But Almas, though. Like, because here's the thing.
Almas, on the other hand, should be like the next Triple H.
Yeah, like, dude, I'm telling you, and the only reason I'm so emphatic is not just because, and I will admit it is informed by this, but it's not just because I'm a bigger Almas fan than a Gargano fan. You and I know damn well, ever since we started TWitWoW, it has been a pressing and consistent problem for WWE finding that top Mexican star.
Yeah.
You fucking found him. Because I am telling you, Almas is so good. And yeah, again, I'm an asshole and I'm going to be that guy. But Almas is so good that if Del Rio's best day coincided with Almas's worst day, Almas still has him fucking beat Royal freaking Flush, baby. Not even close. Like, it is insane to me how good this man is, and he's not even 30.
Yeah,
like,
dude, I was literally just about to say, if you had to say, just based on sort of your understanding of the time and just kind of an observation, when would you say Triple H was at the point in his career that he kind of made it? Like 98, 99 maybe?
Yeah, I was going to say 98, 99, because I've even watched some early Triple H footage. I think that's really, isn't that even the year when he won his first world title and he finally reached that pinnacle? Because I feel like it was late 98, I want to say, but I'm not sure.
Let me look.
Because, yeah, I know it was on a Raw and it was against
in 99.
Mankind.
It was in 99.
99, okay, yeah.
But would you say 99 would be like his sort of like made it moment?
Oh yeah, because well, I mean, he won his first world title, so yeah, and that's when I think.
Yeah, the only reason I'm really like trying to hammer it home is because I don't even necessarily agree with that. I think he made it before then. As far as winning the world title, yes, that was like his crowning achievement. But I would say I would argue that he made it in like 97, like late 97, early 98, with the inception of D-Generation X. Like the D-Generation X was his coming out moment to the main crowd, right?
Right.
Prior to that, he was John Paul Levesque, and then he was the Blue Blood, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and all that shit. And of course, he jobbed hard to the freaking Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 13, I think it was. So, like, yeah, to me, I think his big moment was, like D-Generation X, late 97, early 98. But the reason I'm saying that is because during that time, he was 28 years old. Andrade just turned 28 in November.
Yeah.
He's there.
Dude. I know you and I, because I even saw your reply to my tweet. Look, I'm just going to say right now, I really don't give a shit if he goes to SmackDown or if he goes to Raw. World champion, main event heel. Like, anything else, honestly, is an insult to that man's ability in that ring. Him and Zelina together are one of my favorite acts in wrestling in a long time. Like, I know it's Johnny Mundo forever, and he's got that chokehold, and I love him in Worldwide Underground, but if he was not in the picture, I'm telling you guys right now, Andrade would be the one doing it for me.
Yeah.
This guy is insane. And to be that young and to be that good, the same way we talk about Velveteen Dream, right? Like,
I know that WWE, as far as the main roster goes, really has never, ever repeated an NXT storyline with a performer that really worked to get them over on NXT, which to me is a mistake, because if it worked so well in NXT, why wouldn't you try and reignite that with maybe some different names in different places, but the same general overall feel on the main roster to the wider audience and see if it gets them over on that way too. They don't really do that, but I still think that it would be a really smart decision to get a situation where maybe Zelina has to go on like a vacation or like a business trip, or maybe she I don't know, maybe something happens with her family in a different country and she has to leave the country or something. Get her to go away for like 6 months. And I know that's a long time to ask somebody not to be, on the main product when they're, as long as you keep giving her paychecks, it doesn't fucking matter. Let Andrade do the shit that people weren't connecting with in NXT for the first few months of his main roster run. Then bring in Zelina, reintroduce her as a new dynamic. Don't debut him with her, which I know they're going to fucking do. But to me, you really do need to introduce her as the dynamic element rather than just debuting them as an item. Because when you debut them as an item, there's nothing to do with them except for break them up. Whereas when you introduce her as this dynamic element after he's already been around for a few months, all of a sudden he gets reignited and becomes interesting again. You can give him a push at that point if he hasn't been connecting prior to that. And all of a sudden, you basically can recreate his NXT success on the main roster. It's not hard if you do it right. The WWE just refuses to do it that way. And we got a $2 super chat from James. I'm going to let you read this unless you don't have the thing open.
Ha ha ha! Gargano is unemployed now. Candace is mine.
Thank you, James. We appreciate it. And yeah, so that's my whole thing is I think that they should find a way to introduce Andrade, even if it is introducing him as Tranquilo, where he does like the rope clinging and the goofy stuff that people weren't really connecting with. Then have Zelina come in and be like, what the hell have you been doing? I leave for 3 months or 4 months or however long it is, and you're already back to these ways. Like, we need to snap you back into shape now. And then boom, the whole thing clicks, and she does the same stuff for him on the main roster she's been doing in NXT, and it just freaking works.
Yeah. I mean, dude, to me, I can agree with that. And personally, like, I'm not as averse as them just coming together right away. Although I can understand what you mean, like wanting to make it like,
no, to me, like, isn't it? I think to me, my idea is what I would want most. But if I can't have that and I have to give the choice between them debuting as an item and him debuting as a solo act with her staying in NXT, I want them as an item every time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I just, God, dude, these guys are both so good. And I'm even thinking, like, when they're both on the main roster, I would love if, like, their history, all of Almas's big moments come at the expense of Gargano. Like, say, hypothetically, Gargano, let's see, if we put them both on the Raw brand, right, that would be the Intercontinental Championship. Almas beats Gargano for the Intercontinental title. Maybe Almas beats Gargano for the world. Like, just everything. Because I love this rivalry. This could very well be, if it isn't already, the defining rivalry of Almas's WWE career. Like, I love it. These guys are a fight forever pair, and I mean that in the best possible way. Like, it just, so good. So good. The only thing that always worries me, because whether you put these guys on Raw or on SmackDown, I think they've got great matches waiting for them. But of course, writing is what wins the day. And I will agree with you. I think in some aspects, the Raw writing has been kind of upping its game lately. I just, man, I don't want there to be a ceiling on either of these guys. And I just worry that that ceiling does come in the form of, again, a Roman Reigns or this one or that one. And I look at the work that they did tonight. I mean, Almas coming in and with a great sense of urgency, which is a great story, right? Because they want to get Gargano out of NXT. Moments into the match, tries for multiple pinning combinations. Just great, and it's a heelish tactic. Zelina getting taken out early, to your point, by Candice. Great, because it allows these guys to do their matchup, and then it gives the fan watching, right, that hope. Oh, man, Zelina got taken out really early. You know, so Johnny's still very fresh, and 100% Johnny Gargano can beat Andrade Cien Almas. And then the betrayal. And I got to talk about this guy too, because sooner or later, we're going to be talking about him a lot more than we are right now. Tommaso Ciampa, man. I just love everything about that dynamic too, which again shows you, to your point and everybody's point, about Johnny being this ultimate babyface, because he's got a great rivalry with Almas. He's got a great rivalry with Ciampa. Like, I remember William Regal once described Dean Ambrose is everybody's perfect opponent for the next 10 years. But I feel like for every heel, if you want that instant heat, Johnny Gargano's your perfect opponent for the next 10 years.
Imagine Gargano versus The Miz.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, like, that's how good this man is as a babyface. And again, to your point, Morrow just being like, no, Ciampa destroying Gargano.
Not like this.
Oh, so good. What is this? What is this? And you know what I love too? Because this is like, you know, like you, I don't really take physical notes for NXT, but I take mental notes. I love, okay, so I already mentioned how they keep things fresh every match, so I'm not going to like retread that point entirely. But I love that the ref bump wasn't overly hammed up. And I especially loved it. I don't know if anybody paid particular attention to this, but I did, of course, because I'm a mark. When Gargano had Almas in the Gargano escape, he never tapped. Like he never tapped out even before, like even after Ciampa like interfered and stuff. I love that because I think it creates the idea, yeah, Gargano would have won, but they don't do it at the expense of explicitly bitching Almas out. I love that.
Really? I see. I had alt tab to take notes on like the ref bump and stuff, and I thought from the crowd reaction and the like Morrow reaction and stuff, I thought that Almas did tap.
See, I didn't see him tap unless I missed something. Maybe somebody in chat can rule in one way or the other. If I'm wrong, you know, obviously every time I've been wrong, I always say, well, I was mistaken, we move on. But I didn't think Almas tapped. And I like that because I think it created the imagery that Gargano was going to win. That's indisputable. I mean, the Gargano escape was in the middle of the ring and all that good stuff, but Almas didn't explicitly tap out like we see. So it seems like a trope, right, with heels. Like, oh, we tap out because we know nobody's watching. Almas didn't do that.
Oh, wow, yeah. And we have 4 people in chat now saying that he never tapped. That's crazy. I did not realize that, but that's amazing.
And the only reason I bring that up, right, is because I love that they have really, in incremental ways, they haven't like rushed it or whatever. They've done it in small and brilliant ways, have shown that while Zelina Vega is crucial, she isn't everything. And there's a distinct difference there.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing too, is that she really wasn't involved in this match. Like, she got involved in the first 3 or 4 minutes. Candice eliminated her, and then it was just one-on-one.
Yeah, and like, again, I readily acknowledge Ciampa screwed Gargano. Gargano probably would have won. What I'm saying is I love that this doesn't come at the expense, though, of Almas's credibility, because that is one trope that until I saw Almas not do it, I never realized I hated. Because you'll always see a heel, it's like, oh, the ref's out, tap, 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 tap. Like, Almas didn't give a shit. He's like, no, the NXT Championship's on the line. I know I'm better than Gargano. I am not giving them the satisfaction of me tapping out. Yeah. And I love that, man. I want more heels like that. Like, always act like somebody's watching. Always act like everything matters. And that's what really elevates this match to me, is that you could have really hammed it up if, oh, you took the ref out and, oh, Almas, now he's just going to, do all this. No, he had the mindset of, I tap, I lose. And I love that, because that's what keeps me invested. And, I always say on this podcast, for me, it's the little things. And I that would be a lie if I didn't mention little things like this. So this shows you that that's true. And yeah, I really, really love that little touch to this match, that Almas did not tap, even though Gargano had him dead to rights, and he was able to hang on while Ciampa was just a dickweed and hit him right in the fucking back. Like, so good. I love that he goes against all the heel tropes, and that he's just a heel because he's good. And what a concept, right?
Oh, God, please never call him up. Jesus Christ. Everything you're saying just sounds like things that WWE can't wait to ruin on the main roster.
Like, what a concept, though, right? Just being a heel in virtue of being good.
It's almost like subverting tropes works in wrestling.
I know, right? Like, I'm sorry that I'm having like a freaking dissertation again on something so small, but like what it represents to me is just what everything that makes Andrade so good and so next level. And yeah, I never want to do a disservice to Gargano. Obviously, I respect him as a babyface and as a performer, but I just feel the need to go to bat for Andrade because he, whether WWE knows it or not, is everything they've been seeking with the failed Sin Cara experiment. In my mind, the I guess partially successful Alberto experiment, because they did get a few world titles out of him in a few main events. But
I mean, just because he held the world title doesn't mean that he was successful. He still wasn't a draw in Mexico or really anywhere.
Well, then I hope Andrade can break the mold, brother.
The ironic thing is Alberto became a draw in Mexico when he left WWE, and then when he went back, he stopped being one, because the whole point was he left WWE because they were racist pricks. And then when he went back there, that's some like major Stockholm Syndrome level bullshit.
Yeah, and you and I raked him over the coals for it, and deservedly so.
Yeah, like his return match against Cena, we spend the entire match during our live reactions just talking shit about how much of a hypocritical prick he was.
I hope, sincerely, that Andrade isn't a case, and I'm not saying this to be any kind of way. I'm hoping it's not a case where we, as that quote-unquote, internet wrestling community that's usually said more maliciously, where we really love him, and the numbers don't reflect that. I really do hope he can be the draw that I believe him to be, because I think he's got an amazing look. I think he can get it done. I think Zelina's an incredible mouthpiece. Like, he has everything. I want to take him out for a test drive. I want to see, how does he do on house shows? How does he do on big events? Like if they were to do a Mexico tour, how does he do if you bill him as like in one of the marquee matches? I want to see how much of a draw is this guy. I'd be curious about NXT attendance since he's become champion. Like as far as takeovers and stuff, how does that all shake out? Because if he is a draw, he's everything these guys have ever wanted. These guys being WWE in that market. And he's just so much better than
him for 7 or 8 9 months. And then let's just do in like November NXT TakeOver Tijuana.
Yeah. Yeah. And
just
really
have a takeover in Mexico where he defends the title.
Yeah, dude, I would love to see the attendance. Obviously, I think the reaction would be insane, no matter the attendance.
I just want those numbers to come out and have it turn out to be like, holy shit, this is the highest grossing show run by WWE in the history of Mexico.
Yeah, And you know, I don't even really mention a lot like attendance and this and that. I usually leave that more to you. But the reason I do mention it is because I understand that no matter how much you love somebody, and I would say this about Mundo too. I'd be curious about like Lucha Underground viewership and this and that while he was champion. You can love somebody all day, but if they're not drawing, you know, that's the barometer of success, unfortunately. And I really want to see, is Andrade the success that I believe him to be? Because if he is, good fucking God, give this man the world and do it again. Like, just, oh my God. I think about all the matches this guy can have, all the feuds. And that goes the same for Gargano, by the way. Everything I'm saying about one, you could apply to the other, copy, paste. And it's just, it's so good. Like, I see such a promising career for both of these guys, but WWE has got to permit that to happen, and that's where I'm tentative. That's where I'm so goddamn tentative, because
we're gonna get Johnny Gargano 205 Live. Andrade is gonna end up being a mid-card heel champion that get all the things wrong because he's gonna end up being a coward and lose all the time.
And you know what? The only reason I hate that, besides, you know, everything, is I'm gonna hate coming up here with you every month for either like preview predictions or the occasional Raw review, like if Raw does have like a good show. But somewhere in there always is going to be either me or you or both of us collectively lamenting what could have been and what should be. And I don't want to do that with these two because they make me feel so goddamn good. They are everything that's right with pro wrestling. And I want to celebrate that regularly. So if they get fucked on this,
yeah,
and the happiness and the joy that I could have been using in commentaries like these turns into bitterness and complaints, WWE, I swear to fuck, man, don't do that to me. I can do it with Roman never turning heel. I can do it with Braun never being able to beat Brock. Don't do it to me with these guys. Yeah. Really. Jesus
But they're
Christ.
going to, so.
Well, I mean, you know what? We say they're going to, and tentatively I agree with you, and I only say tentatively because we don't know yet. We don't know yet. But I really want to believe that they can get these guys right. Because if you can't, I don't know why I should have hope for you. Because let me tell you something. If they can't get it right with these guys, and I don't mean to put Brandon on blast, forget getting Aleister Black right to me. Because, I mean, come on. Like, acts that really should write themselves that easily, that just tells me that they'll fuck up anything that's good. Which means I wouldn't trust Black. I wouldn't trust Velveteen Dream to be gotten right. Like, if you cannot get Gargano and Almas right, that kills any hope I have.
I think out of those four guys, like out of Black, Almas, Gargano, and Dream, I think the one that I would say has a shot at becoming successful as long as he doesn't get pigeonholed into 205 Live would be Black. It would be Aleister Black, because I feel like he has the look and sort of that natural charisma and the style that Vince would be drawn to. And I think, as ignorant as it would be because of how different they are as people, as wrestlers, as everything, I think Vince would see a lot of CM Punk in Aleister Black. And I think that he would be like, oh, well, I can't have the original and he was hard to work with, but this guy's great. I'm going to push him. He's the next CM Punk, damn it.
Yeah. I mean, and you might be right about that. I just think my point is, like, if you screw up acts as talented as Johnny Gargano and Andrade Cien Almas, even if you do hit it out of the park with future NXT acts, which is entirely possible because it's never a black and white thing, I'm always going to be tentative about every single one that comes after them because I'm going to think what could have been with those guys, and you fucked it up. So, great match by these guys. They should be proud of the effort they put on in there. Almas continues to be an incredible champion. Gargano continues to be an incredible babyface. And Ciampa continues to be an incredible dick. So everybody is doing their role perfectly.
And then, of course, as Gargano is walking up the ramp to the sound of "Thank You, Johnny" chants, and then he turns around to face the NXT crowd one last time before leaving forever, what do we see?
Ciampa waving bye-bye to Johnny Gargano.
That son of a bitch.
Dude, I love, too, just again to talk a little bit more about Ciampa, because I know we've been talking about mainly the active participants, and with good reason, obviously. But I love that this guy isn't even on the active roster because he's still, like, healing up that injury, and he's already gotten so much heat. Like, if we're talking about top heels and shit, I need to, and again, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I'm going to put Andrade to the side for like 2 seconds because the amount of heat that Ciampa's been able to generate just by being Ciampa, just by being this asshole and not even like formally having a match or anything is mind-boggling. Now, again, we can never superimpose NXT reactions upon the whole WWE landscape because main roster could be very different. But God, I hope that Ciampa would find a way when he gets called up to get a similar amount of heat because crowd was booing him. I'm guessing he's going to get a lot more heat after that if I had to imagine. And yeah, that's another guy that you look at him and he just looks like this merciless freaking heel that could be hated everywhere. You know, again, you and I have had conversations about personalities like a Cornette, and you know there are some things I like about him, and we both kind of roll our eyes about certain shit. But he's always like, "Oh, you know, well, the best heels, the crowd's always wanted to kill him." And like Ciampa has that quality to me, where like if you push people hard enough, some people would want to go over the guardrail just to kill this dude because you took my Gargano away from me. How dare you? Like he just has that quality. And like that's something I can't even say about Andrade because I don't think Andrade is ever going to get heat to the point where I want to physically kill this dude, even though he was an accomplice in getting Gargano out of NXT. But Ciampa definitely does. I think Ciampa has that look. He has that aura where if he pushes the right buttons, he could get a ring littered with garbage. He could get people trying to hop over the railing. Like
I think like if there was an award for the most likely candidate to give us some sadistic 2000 and whatever year it was that Triple H broke into his house, Randy Orton segments. What year was that, John?
That was I believe wasn't that 09? I want to say. Or was that?
I think their WrestleMania match was in 09. I think that was WrestleMania 25.
Yeah, and that was like part of the build to that was the house segment that you're
was
talking
that
about.
the whole like IED Randy Orton's a loose cannon like DDTing Stephanie and making out with her in front of Triple H while he was handcuffed to the ropes?
Yeah.
Okay. If I had to make an award for the candidate most likely to give us some 2009 Randy Orton level sadistic segments, that award goes to Ciampa.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And yeah, I'm so excited for him, dude. I'm so excited for his future, for his career, because you are talking about a heat machine. And
hell, even like just the look that he has going right now with the big beard, you know who he really reminds me of with his current look?
Who's that?
Ben Kingsley's character in Iron Man 3, the fake Mandarin. Trevor Slattery was his name in the movie. That is exactly who the current iteration of Tommaso Ciampa reminds me of.
I'd see with the big beard and the black hard shirt and the whole aesthetic he's got going on. I don't even mean this like in a negative way because I almost kind of wanted it now. If I had a time machine, I could have done things differently. He almost looks like a lost Wyatt family member to me. I love it. I just love, oh my God.
Imagine him joining the Wyatt family for like a week and then just being like, I'm bored and just hitting Bray in the back with a kendo stick.
Yeah, that's just like, oh my God. And that's another guy. Like, I know you say that Marty's over the top for you sometimes, and we both agree that Nikki Cross is over the top. And I know you said Hiromu was like your middleman. But like, if we wanted a close WWE approximate, I'd say Ciampa's another good guy to say.
Oh, dude. I mean, if we can get the Ring of Honor Sicilian psychopath version of Ciampa maybe turned up from like 9 to 11, I am so all for that. It's not even funny.
Dude, all 3 people in this equation, plus Zelina, so I'll say all 4 people because she's fantastic in her own right. I just love everybody involved in this madness, and Candice, who I'm very curious now what her NXT trajectory is going to look like now that she's no longer going to be like with Johnny, like in kayfabe, on NXT. That should be very interesting. So yeah, man, I mean, just this main event segment alone, I feel like has comprised the bulk of our NXT review. So let's get on to our next segment, high spots and low shots. This may be one of those times where we have a low shot because there's nobody bigger than Johnny Gargano tonight. He lost his career.
That's definitely going to be a shared low shot because there really isn't anyone else.
Yeah, and hell, we might as well have a shared high spot because I'm just going to tell you right now, my high spot is Andrade Cien Almas.
See, I won't necessarily agree with that. Just because, and obviously that's probably the best answer, but I do have an alternative high spot.
Well, that's good then. That's good then, because you know what a big Andrade fan I am. So normally I try and leave guys that I know you really like to you. I'm not going to apologize for taking this one because you know I love Andrade to death.
No, but my high spot is Tommaso Ciampa.
Oh, great. So I'm picking the champion, and you're picking the guy that set it all in motion.
You're picking the champion. I'm picking the motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. So, yeah, man. Any concluding remarks about NXT tonight?
No, it was just a lot of fun. The first half kind of dragged for me, but man, 8:30 rolls around and we start this match, and everything after that point was just gold. I loved it.
Thank you, Johnny Gargano, for your amazing body of work. Assuming that this really is your last.
Before we get into our outro and stuff, I wanted to have one more discussion with you. What is next for Gargano now?
And I was even going to kind of hint at that. Well, I'll answer your question with a question. Do you think he's legitimately done with NXT, or do you think this is a long con and it's really more of a narrative?
That's the question that I was asking you.
Well, I mean,
I'll tell you what I think is going to happen. And then I'll tell you what I want to happen. Are you ready?
Okay. What do you think is going to happen? Because I think whatever you're about to say, we've kind of discussed this a little bit before off recording, right. And I'm probably going to agree with you. So what do you think is going to happen?
So what I want to happen, not what I think is going to happen, what I want to happen is for Johnny Gargano to debut on Monday Night Raw and be in a match with someone random, maybe The Miz, since he's the champion, maybe not The Miz, maybe like Titus O'Neil, maybe like, Kurt Hawkins, maybe someone like that. And while he's wrestling that person, Ciampa shows up and beats the shit out of him. So we get a double NXT call-up in the same night, even though from a kayfabe perspective, it was only intended to be Gargano. Ciampa follows him to the main roster, and we get a one-on-one match between them at WrestleMania on the main show. That's what I want, right?
Okay.
Here's what I think is going to happen. Ciampa versus Gargano, unsanctioned street fight, takeover New Orleans.
And see, as far as what you think is going to happen, I agree with you. And I'm glad you reiterated it, because I know you were the one to say it first. Again, in one of our conversations that wasn't a recording, I do think that this termination has been like a long con as part of a narrative device. And I do think it is going to kind of lead to that unsanctioned match that you were just talking about, Ciampa versus Gargano in New Orleans, which I honestly, for as much as I love Andrade and I feel like him and Black are going to fucking kill it, I don't know, guys. That unsanctioned match might get match of the night easily. And Andrade's been wrestling out of his mind, I've just said, and Aleister Black is Aleister Black. But, I mean, Ciampa and Gargano are Ciampa and Gargano at the same time. So,
that might be like a Wrestle Kingdom 9, or not 9, 9, 10. Like a Wrestle Kingdom 10 situation where, like, you get, Nakamura versus Styles, but you also get Okada retaining against Tanahashi. And there are a lot of people that think one of them is match of the night, and a lot of people that think the other one is. And there are some people that are just like, God damn, they were both amazing. I can't pick. I could imagine that being what that happens.
Yeah, because, I mean, everybody's just really performing on their A game right now. I love it. It's amazing. And, yeah, I agree with you. I do think that unsanctioned match is probably going to be what happens with these guys. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to ascend to that. And with that said, I don't really know if there's any more, like, talking points to have. So, again, I ask you the question, do you have any concluding remarks about NXT tonight?
Close it out, brother.
All right, guys, with that said, this has been NXT. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my coordinating combination. Guys, be sure to comment, subscribe, and like the video. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top search result for NXT reviews on YouTube. And when you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong. So please leave that like. Now, guys, you already know all of our media in the description box. You already know to follow myself and Ashton on Twitter. You already know to like the TWitWoW Facebook page. The only two things I'm really going to go out of my way to plug. One, the Teespring store. We've got a bunch of offerings, including I'm Not Finished With You! The real face of the women's revolution, the Emma t-shirt. Emma, of course, is starting to take more bookings. She's starting to get more of a presence again. So if you want to support Emma and her new undertakings, on the indie scene, I think the best way to do it is with the shirt that Ashton made. Also, after Andrade's latest title defense, that Tranquilo shirt, it looks better and better every time. Am I right? Go get that shirt. I love that shirt. I think it's one of my favorites that he's made because it's just so well done, so creative with the Tranquilo. So yeah, that's the Teespring store. The Patreon. You guys know how this works. Patreon. Because of the Patreon, we have been able to do Progress Live reactions. Now, currently, it's looking like those are going to be discontinued for the month of March, unless you guys can come in and get those donations and get us back up to 120. Because I think last I checked, we were at like 97. So it's kind of dipped a little bit. But if you guys want to see Progress Live reactions continue, please do consider donating. The most effective way to donate, to get the most bang for your buck, so to speak, $3 gets you Discord membership. I think Discord is the best thing that we offer to the most hardcore TWitWoW fans. We had a great time on Monday Night Raw, talking to each other during the Gauntlet match, and SmackDown was pretty fun too this week. And yeah, that's just it. You get the most intimate experience possible when you join the Discord. You can talk about pretty much anything there. We have a tab for just about anything, and you could submit your Q&A questions, and you're probably some of the earliest questions received because we're always in the Discord. So, yeah, great place to submit your Q&A questions as well, and I'm going to get to that in a moment. And the more you stay in the Discord, as I always say, like, it's $3 a month. Say you maintain your Discord membership for 10 months. $30, you cash your chips in for a live reaction to a 3-hour show. It gives you content control. And we all know that power is the best thing on earth. So, yeah, I mean, to me, I call it a win-win-win-win. Because I think you help us and you help the channel grow in our projects. Again, because of you guys, we've been able to do Progress, which has been an immensely fun experience. We just saw Rampage Brown beat El Ligero in Chapter 8 here to become the 3rd ever Progress champion. I'm loving the journey. I don't want it to stop. I want to keep seeing these stories develop. Because of you guys that we got this chance, and I hope it's because of you guys that we're able to keep it. You guys are able to get content control. I know Cliff's been cashing in his chips. He's had us do a few live reactions lately. Jackie just had us do a tournament lately. It's because of patrons like you that all of these things become open to us, and I really don't want that to stop. So please, if you're already a donor, keep those donations coming if you can. If you've thought about donating, I think there's a lot of upside, and I really hope you consider doing so. With that said, I'm going to shift now into talking about content. Really, 3 big things for the remainder of the week here. Tomorrow, at 7 p.m. EST, it's Q&A number 20. 20 Q&As already, guys. It's absolutely insane. Now, I've recorded most of the questions today. I know Mark Schoeneman. I talked with him. He's going to swap out one of his questions. But really, you guys have been fantastic about submitting questions in. If you haven't yet, again, we go live at 7 p.m. EST, so you've got a little bit of a window. Get those questions in while you can. Again, Twitter, Facebook, Discord, and YouTube. Best ways to submit your Q&A questions. I've got a pinned tweet to receive all your Q&A questions, so I feel like my Twitter is one of the best mediums to use to participate in Q&A. And everybody's permitted up to 4 questions per Q&A. You can divvy them up however you want. If you want to ask both of us all 4 of your questions, great. If it's more of a specialized question that you feel is more conducive to my knowledge or Ashton's, then you can make it a question exclusively for me or for Ashton. You're in control of your questions, and I love Q&A. I think you guys are very inspired every month with the questions you come up with. And looking at the questions today, that's certainly no different. So if you haven't done anything yet, please consider doing so. Friday, and I'm going to assume that we're going live at 9 with this, right, Ashton? It's
yes,
going to
sir.
be yes, okay. It's going to be Elimination Chamber preview and predictions. I think I got a rant or 2 in me about this card just as a warning, but that's not to be conflated with me not anticipating this show. That's curious. I wonder what John's thinking. You'll find out come Friday because we're going to talk about the whole Elimination Chamber card and its wider implications for WrestleMania. I'm always excited when we do preview predictions because I always think it's a really great discussion-heavy kind of thing that we do. So you're going to want to be here for Elimination Chamber because we're really now on the road to WrestleMania. We're in it, baby. We're in it. And then all of those predictions, all of that talk, it plays out on Sunday for Elimination Chamber preview preview predictions. I got that on the brain. Live reactions. Ain't no preview predictions for that. No live reactions. You know how it goes, guys. You guys pack into the chat. Me and Ashton, we watch Elimination Chamber. If it's a dud, we'll entertain you by entertaining ourselves. And if it's great, well, we'll entertain you by being the wrestling fans you all know, love, and are sometimes concerned with, especially when it concerns me. So, yeah, live reaction Sunday, guys, should be a lot of fun. I hope to see all of you there. So, again, it all begins tomorrow with Q&A number 20. Get your questions in if you haven't. Guys, I want to thank everybody for joining us for our NXT review and for our rundown. And until then, tune in and peace out.